in informational writing, it's important that we think about what are the traits that each of the writings have, because these are the things that we want all of our writings to have. But then what we're going to be working on today is this idea of the opinion. What is it that writers do to show their opinion? And so underneath your list there, will you please write, writers take a stand. One of the most important things that you do when you're first starting, when you're first given the question that you need to answer, is you need to decide what side of the issue to stand on. When you're given the MEP test, you'll be given a question that looks something like this. Does playing video games have an effect on a person? Okay. Now, immediately, we have some ideas about these questions that they give us, right? But just like we did with our narrative writing, before we dive in and start writing our essay, we want to do a little planning first. So we're going to deal with this question, does playing video games have an effect on a person? Let's start by rewriting the question. We will do this because it helps us to make sure we know what the question is, so when we go to answer it, we're sure we're answering the right one. Okay, so let's turn the page in our need so we have a fresh page, and then write the question, does playing video games have an effect? Then I want to take a couple of minutes and think about my yeses and think about my nos. So I'm going to just list them. And you're welcome to list the ideas along with me, or if you have your own ideas, you can add them. But I just want to quick jot them down, just like I did yesterday with my story starters. What are my yeses and nos? Okay, so right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, yes, they affect you because you have better hand-eye coordination. And maybe that also means that you have better reflexes. And I know that I've seen some studies about like people becoming more obese because they're playing video games. And that's not necessarily a positive effect, but it is an effect. So that I'm going to put in my yes side. Yes side. So I'm going to put more obesity. So I have a few ideas there. Now I'm going to try to think of my no's. Does playing video games have an effect on a person? No. Well, no, because if you're balanced in what you do, like if you spread out your time, it's not going to affect you. It's just something to do. So I'm going to put, it's just a hobby like anything else. And then maybe, well, I've read studies before about like people being more violent because they play video games. I play video games and I'm not a violent person. So I'm going to say no because violent, let's see, I'm not violent. And I play. So I don't think that they affect you. Okay. But if I stop now and I think about which side do I have more proof for, I think that I probably have more proof for the yes side. I've got 3 pretty clear ideas. So now what I'm going to do is underneath that, I'm going to take a stand. And I'm going to make my statement very clear by saying video games do have an effect on a person. Notice that in my statement, first of all, I chose the one that I have more proof for after my couple of minutes of brainstorming. And then when I made my statement, I used the keywords from the question in my response, and I made my opinion very clear. Will you please, just to practice, right underneath that, write the opposite side of this same thesis. So choose the no. Okay, so in your mead, right underneath this, write the opposite of this statement. Please turn and share your opposing thesis with your writing partner.
Video games do have an effect on the person. Video games.
Let's come back together, please. Your opposing thesis should sound something like, video games do not have an effect on a person. Notice that in both of these, my opinion is clear, and I have restated some of the words from the question in my response. Okay? Now what I would like you to do is practice the same strategy as what we did with this question with 2 more. So let's recap. What are the steps that we took? We started by rewriting the key question, did a quick brainstorm of both sides, chose the side we have more evidence of, and then wrote a thesis. Okay? So your next questions are there benefits to participating in athletics? And should high school be extended to 5 years due to an increasing demand on students? So please work silently at your desk on each of these, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes.